Well, good Monday morning to you. Welcome back. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. This is what I call my morning musings. Enjoying a great cup of coffee this morning, actually about my third, and sharing some thoughts with you. Most of the thoughts that I'm sharing with you now come from requests from those of you who are watching, and I just can't say how much I appreciate you tuning in and to listen to my morning musings, how much I appreciate you sending me your thoughts, whether agreement or disagreement, and requests for topics to be discussed. It really, really means a lot. You know, it's so thrilling to me. We sometimes hear so much negative stuff, and people like to say, well, look who left the movement. Look, somebody left. But you know what? The number of people that I hear from who are coming to believe in covenant eschatology far outstrips the number of those who are abandoning. And furthermore, the fact that people leave covenant eschatology really means nothing whatsoever. People in the first century abandoned Jesus, for crying out loud. So, anyway, just wanted to throw that in there for consideration. I've had several viewers ask, could you give just a thumbnail sketch, a Reader's Digest, if you please, of really what covenant eschatology, which is the term that I much prefer over the term preterism, can you give a thumbnail sketch of what it's all about? Well, this may take a couple of sessions, okay? But let me begin by saying this. And I believe this is a major, major misunderstanding in many evangelical circles today. And that is, first of all, we have to understand that the Bible and the story of the Bible is not about, quote, world history, unquote. It is about salvation history. That puts the discussion into an entirely different context. People often question, people often ask, why isn't America, why isn't South America mentioned in the Bible? And of course, some people claim that Russia and China is mentioned there. In reality, they're not. But be that as it may, people ponder why some of these other countries, world players, are not mentioned. Well, the reason for that is that God was dealing for so long with one distinctive people to bring about salvation through them, for them first, and then through them for the world. But in his historical dealings with them, he only dealt with the nations that came into direct contact with them. That's why we don't read about America or South America or Japan or Russia and China, for that matter. Because as God was dealing with mankind, and even beginning in Genesis onward until the establishment of Israel, God was dealing with a chosen seed line through whom he was going to bring redemption for all mankind. So in its initial development, in the story of the Bible, we have a very narrow focus that was pointing to the time in which that focus would indeed be broadened and expanded to all men. But that consummation, i.e. eschatology, was to be focused on that narrow focus, that funneled point, if you please, at which God's exclusive dealings with an exclusive people and the judgment of that old covenant world would take place, and as a result of the condemnation and the cessation of that old covenant world, the promises to the nations would then be opened up. But it is that crucial point of eschatology with which we are concerned. That is the time of the end. That is the end of, quote, this age. It is the full, glorious beginning of the age to come. So, in response to the question of a brief summary of covenant eschatology, we must first of all understand that the story of the Bible and the story of eschatology is not concerned with world history per se, telling us about events over here and over there that were not directly related to God's covenantal dealings with an exclusive people to bring in salvation for all nations. And as an introduction to the next session, we must realize that as the story of eschatology is related to salvation, the story of eschatology is also about covenant. Okay? It's not about the march of the time-space continuum. It is about covenant. It is about relationship lost, relationship regained. We'll talk about that on the flip side. Thanks for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. You have a great day, and Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow.